Welcome back to Coast Files, your podcast for ocean mysteries and true crime. I'm Chantel.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm Megan.
Hello.
Hi.
Yay, we did it.
We can always do this. We got this intro down now, even though I'm feeling like I'm going back to mysteries again. Definitely did that in the last one.
I
but
feel like
But it's only really been, 5 days since we were last recorded? So we're
yes, out of practice.
I just feel like on any given day, I'm teetering on mysteries. Like it's
Yes.
and it's not even that word. It
Mysteries.
could be really any word, and it'll just come out completely wrong.
There we go.
So this is just crazy, but we are 1 week away from Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
not in reality, but in episode release date.
that means that when this comes out, I will be finished my Christmas shopping. I will be probably much more prepared than I am currently. So that's okay.
I love that manifestation for you. I hope that is reality.
Yeah, I
Future
should
me
really
is
get on the
doing
Christmas
good.
shopping thing.
Yeah.
So see, when I am normal and have like an income, I was done Christmas shopping months ago. That's just how, like, I can't help myself. But when you don't have a job, the expectation to buy gifts is just like erased. It's great.
That's fair. I mean, there's no real expectations for me to buy. Well, I mean, I want to for my niece and nephew.
Oh,
so.
I want to. Like, I have lists for.
Well,
I
to
mean,
be fair, I went on
Chantel,
something
I
with
will
my
send you my
nephew.
list later. Okay.
Okay. I went in on something with my nephew with my mom, so like that's taken care of because my mom's so like done her Christmas shopping.
Yeah.
So my Christmas present will be on its way soon. I got it
Nice.
early.
oh, is that what we saw the
Yeah, the
photo?
headphones.
Yes, I was like,
Yeah.
is it a secret for any reason?
No, it's not. It's not a secret. Yes, because people are gonna be so excited on this podcast to see me get new headphones.
Everyone has been waiting
It
for
looks
this
like you don't
day.
even have any. So
I know. No, so I'm pretty excited because my mom, I'd originally sent her something else, and then she was saying something about it. I was like, actually, I have something else if you can help me with this. And she was like, yeah. I was like, amazing.
Just to be an adult and just talk about it straight. Like, I love that.
Yeah, me too.
We're just going to be doing lots of like family games. We started doing this not too long ago, maybe 3 years ago, where I saw this thing on Pinterest where I showed you guys my little Poca present. So that's, it's like this box with little compartments, and on the top there's a thin layer of tissue. So, you somehow figure out the order in which people are going to be finding their present, and then you pretty much like punch the tissue and you get your prize, and they're normally under $10.
cute.
And I don't think anyone in my family will listen to this, so I'll just tell you what the gifts are going to be.
Are you looking for husband?
It's like the one episode they listen to.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Can you
right.
imagine? No, I doubt. Well, I mean, Damien's in on it. Like, we're not going to do gifts. And he bought me
Well,
this
it was-
sweater. So, like, there you
Okay.
go. Gift done.
Yeah.
So, everyone will pitch in some money, and that will let me buy the gifts. And also, we do this like a beer pong game, but instead of beer, it's like little treats and like scratchers, like lotto tickets. So you just try to get your little ping pong ball in the cup, and then whatever you win in that cup is what you win. And it was hilarious.
cute.
People got
Yeah.
crazy. So
I actually need to make games for the Deems family
We will talk.
Christmas.
We
So
will
okay,
talk.
good. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
So
I
I
like
ordered.
that though. Sorry, I just
No,
want
go
to.
ahead.
I feel like a lot of pressure to buy all these gifts because we go see our
100%.
family and stuff, and I want to almost text and be like, "Can we just?" And we are doing a Secret Santa. I'm like, I'd rather just let's just do that.
So I've been
And
trying to
then
get them to do
leave it.
Secret Santa, but because, the kids were still youngish, like Lily's now in university, but Callum's like a young man. So,
Right.
so like my parents want to get them presents, but then like they don't have any money to get, and I would never want like an 18-year-old to stress out to try and get me a gift. Like, don't even bother.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just keep saying like, don't get us anything. Like, I just want to hang out with you. Like, we're going to be spending money on drinks and alcohol and desserts. Like, let's just hang out together, play games, whatever. And so this year, for the first time, everyone's on board. Erin said that she'll just get the kids some stuff because like those are her kids. I get it. But like
Yeah.
adults getting nothing. I'm like, good.
Yeah,
Lily
that's fair.
She was going to send me a PowerPoint presentation of all the gifts she wanted, because I'm like, with what money, sweetheart? So she was telling her mom, like, okay, well, I'm going to send you the list to, whatever, and Megan. And Aaron's like, Megan doesn't have a job. Like, what are you
Yeah.
thinking? That's just kid brain. Okay. So,
Right.
Poca present.
Adults just have money.
So
When she graduates, the harsh reality of money will hit her. And
it'll hit her
Well,
so
it-
hard. It's already hitting now, but she's like, I'm the baby, so I get all the
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
Sorry,
That's me.
sweetheart. I wish. So part of the gift that will go in the polka present has yet to be determined. It'll be fun things from like the dollar store, but the other half will be Lego people.
Oh, right. I remember you said
Ooh,
that.
right.
Oh,
How
yes.
cute is
I
she?
love it.
Love
I love
it.
it.
And obviously, like I had to get some extras for myself.
Yeah.
So, half the order arrived, half didn't. So I have this guy. He's just missing his hat.
Oh, it's
Okay.
coming though, right?
And
As in, like, half the pieces are. Oh, I think. Do you have that on backwards, or is that supposed to
no,
be in
he
the
has a
back?
little candy cane in his back pocket.
Oh,
So
Gonna
okay.
put that out whenever you need it.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Obviously.
Santa came minus his hat. His hat's in the other half of the order that hasn't come here yet. And this is the other one I got for myself. Now, she's missing her hair, but I made Casey Becker from Scream.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's so
I
cute.
wish she had a. Wait.
Just missing
Yeah, I
her
wish she had
wig.
a little phone.
Yeah, she'll
So
get it.
I looked for a phone, and then I think I forgot.
I have a Lego phone.
Can you save that for me? I'll trade you the machete.
Just,
I'll talk
trade
to
you a
Grace and we'll make a
machete? Yeah.
deal.
And then I have like
Yeah.
more bottoms and some more heads, but like I'm literally missing half of the order, so I could only make
Okay.
one full cool chick. Anyway, so everyone's gonna get a random Lego
that.
person, and I
Mhm.
encourage them to switch bottoms and tops and hair if they want, and
Mhm.
then other fun like dollar store stuff probably.
Yeah, we definitely have
That's
a Lego.
really
We have
good.
so many.
Yeah.
So much Lego.
Lindsay, I'm
So
sure you have
much.
more than one phone, so swipe me a little phone and just
Yeah.
keep that to the side.
Yeah. Just
Now,
be like, I don't know what happened.
now enough
Sorry,
about
son.
Christmas. This comes out on the 18th, like we said. Yesterday is a very special day, so that's December 17th, and that's what inspired this case. Is it related to the ocean? Not at all. True crime? Yes. Canadian, which is an undercurrent theme of this whole podcast.
Surrounded by the ocean.
Undercurrent.
Oh, guys, sometimes it just comes out. Like, I don't even try. So, yesterday was National Maple Syrup Day.
I knew it was going to be
That's
that.
inspired today's case,
Oh, I know.
which is the Great Canadian Maple Syrup Heist.
Yes. Oh my god,
Nice.
I'm so excited.
It's just like the Italian job, except in every other opposite way. So,
Except
like,
it's maple
Except
syrup.
Canadian and instead of
and
the
there
cars.
were no Mini Coopers, but like it's
maple syrup.
essentially the same.
I mean,
Okay.
maple syrup is basically liquid gold, right?
Oh, Lindsay,
I
that
know.
comes up.
The first breast milk is also liquid gold, but okay.
Yeah, it is.
Can you imagine?
And so
someone
is
stole
olive
a bunch
oil
of-
from like Italy is liquid gold
Okay,
too.
there's a lot of liquid golds.
Liquid
Okay,
gold.
Okay.
But in this
We-
particular case,
So is gold when you melt it down. It's liquid gold. So,
Thanks, Chantal. Oh. Are we gonna have another repeat of like last time we did an episode?
no. We are gonna be, composed
We're good.
people.
okay.
Wait,
so
why
we're
are we like
mature
chugging maple syrup
grown-ups.
right now, like a real Canadian?
I actually just pretend I have a maple syrup like latte in my hand.
Okay.
So
Well,
Eric and
oh my
I-
god, I'll pop it in there.
Eric likes watching The Bachelorette, like we used to anyway. I mean, I
Mhm.
also
Still
was
to
like,
watch it.
right. So anyway, we were watching an
I already
episode
know the
maybe
scene
from
you're
a few
talking
years
about.
ago.
I already know the scene.
Exactly. And there was a Canadian on it.
Yeah.
And then for the date, they had to like take shots of maple syrup. And I'm like, we don't do that.
We
But,
like,
like,
you're not
love
making
maple
Canada look
syrup.
good.
And also,
Why don't you just get pancakes or something and put maple syrup on it? Like you make
Whenever-
us sound like we're crazy.
whenever
like,
there
taking
is
shots
a
of maple
Canadian
syrup.
on the show that gets towards like the back half and they do like a themed date, either they go to their hometown or there's a few
Yeah.
I watched over COVID where they were on that resort. I think it was somewhere in Mexico, so they had to like recreate. Do we love
That's
hockey?
exactly what the one.
Yes. Do we like maple syrup? Yes, but so does like the entire East Coast of North America.
I think most people who tried
most
maple syrup
people-
would probably
yeah.
like it.
If you've
It's
tried
like sugar.
if you've
If you
tried
like sweet
poutine-
syrup, you like it.
if you've tried poutine,
Yeah.
you love it. But like we
Mhm.
are not just those three things, and I wish that they could just understand that there's more
Yeah.
shit. At least when they went
We're
to
also
Alberta,
beavers and moose
oh
and-
my god,
and
And
plaid
lobsters if
and
you're from
lobster-
Nova
lobster
Scotia.
traps. We're also
fishermen.
etc. etc.
Mountains.
Yeah.
Also
I mean,
rivers.
not for
no
Nova Scotia, but for some other places, we have other
there's some
things.
big hills.
Yeah,
That's true. There
Anyway,
are some hills.
but I
We
know,
got
and I
that.
think it was Zach, and we kept calling him like Zach the Batch, or I forget. Anyway, Tammy and I were making jokes, and he
Yeah.
like takes a shot, and he's like, "Ooh, I hate this," and he chose like Aunt Jemima as like the better syrup. I'm like,
Oh, that's not a maple
Then
syrup.
all right,
That is
you
not
should know the
maple syrup.
difference between Aunt Jemima. Aunt Jemima is
It's
not even close.
It's
it may be
It's a-
nostalgic because you grew up with it, but once you have the good stuff, you're like, well, I'm never going back.
yeah, because it's
I
real maple
obviously
syrup.
I'm gonna flex my privilege here a little bit, but I grew up with the good stuff.
Oh no, we did too. We would go
Whoa.
to the maple syrup farms,
Yeah.
and
Chantel,
we would
stop
get a
ruining my case.
barrel of it. Yeah.
Listeners, I'm sorry if I
Okay.
had to stop her in her tracks because she's gonna say
Okay. She's gonna
cute.
give away too much.
Well, you're
Sorry.
gonna say
Sorry.
cute things
Sorry.
that I'm gonna mention. Okay, so
Oh, I was gonna say is that we would always have a barrel in our basement, like ready to top up for the
A
entire year.
barrel, yeah.
Like, we
Okay,
would
had
get, like, a big
container,
yeah.
like a big jug, right?
Yeah,
Not a
so no, we would
barrel.
have like the huge container, and like that would be it. That was our maple syrup for the year. We would go once a year and we would get it, and like you would fill up your little containers
did you
with it.
like live off grid and I didn't know? Like, what in the heck?
No, my parents did that too. It doesn't sound like it was as big as your barrel, but they would buy
Yeah,
like the
I mean,
big,
it probably
big
wasn't, like-
jugs, and you fill up
it
your
probably-
smaller jugs.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like an oil barrel full, but like it was a huge thing that we would have. Also, I
Megan,
was
did
little.
you
Maybe
not
I'm
grow up
remembering it
with-
so much bigger than what it was.
Yeah,
but
the jug
you know,
was
in
like this big.
yeah, probably. But like, you know, back then it wasn't always in all of the stores and stuff like that as readily available as it was, and it was so much cheaper to do that. So like, yeah, we would go up and we would get it that
Mhm.
way, and like that was our
Yeah.
maple syrup for the
To
year.
answer your question, no, I had a normal childhood in terms of syrup.
Oh yeah, did you?
I
In terms of
so you-
syrup, yeah.
You
in
had
terms of
Aunt
syrup.
Jemima.
Sorry, normal childhood.
I was
No.
like, Megan, we've heard
In
things.
terms of syrup, yes, I'm pretty sure it was Aunt Jemima all the way, and probably once in a while we'd have fancy stuff. But you know, my mom worked at a grocery store, and she probably would get like great deals, and it was just like
Mhm.
and we're kids, who cares? I'm sure that as we got older, I'm not even sure if my dad is into syrup, but I'm sure I was introduced as I got older, and I was like, oh well, the good stuff is just so different. Like it's night and day, really.
I think we had
Yeah.
Aunt Jemima in the house as well for like in between barrel fill-ups.
Sorry, I'm in between barrels
And,
right
like,
now.
And like, I mean, this wasn't something that we were like eating all the time. So yeah, probably
It
my
seems
barrel is like
it
much
seems
smaller
it's
than
a
what I
huge
thought it
part
was.
of your life, and it's
No, but like
Or
I
you are.
vividly
Eaten
remember
it.
this.
Like usually one day on the weekend, my mom would make pancakes, so like
Yeah.
I probably was eating it every week.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
that's
I
that's
don't-
not abnormal.
You're like drizzling it over your pancakes. You're not like
Mhm.
pouring it on. Like, you know,
I mean,
not
I,
taking shots.
I
of it.
mean,
I kind of dump it
I'm
on.
soaking my pancakes.
You know what I actually tried? You know how sometimes you make a pasta sauce, like they recommend putting a little bit of sugar in it?
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I put a little
put
bit of
sugar in
maple
it.
syrup.
Yeah, that works
What?
too.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
add more sugar into your sugar syrup?
No, I don't. I make
No.
like I'm making like a bolognese sauce or something.
Yeah.
Sometimes recipes will call for a little sugar.
Oh my
just a
god!
tiny
Okay,
bit.
I got confused.
So I'll put in
yes.
a little bit of maple syrup instead.
Mhm.
Well,
to get
that's why
that-
I make
yeah,
all of my
more
my
rich
dressings.
flavor.
Like I'm really on this awesome salad kick right now, where it's very very simple, and I'm not like
Oh.
reinventing the wheel. Like the salad exists everywhere. So
Mhm.
spinach, dried cranberries, candied walnuts, which
Mhm.
I candied myself,
Look at you.
and
Wow, that's fancy.
and if you have bacon that's already cooked, great. But I usually just do those two things, and then for a dressing, I just do like olive oil, some Dijon mustard, maple syrup, salt and pepper, and then I shake it up a bunch. Oh, and balsamic vinegar.
So
Oh,
two
that sounds
things.
really
We put
good.
maple syrup in almost all of our salads because
Yeah.
we'll put in a vinegar and then put in maple
Yeah.
syrup. Secondly, Vadim puts it in our margaritas rather than sugar syrup.
Like it's the same difference. It's just
Okay,
Yeah,
you know.
well, next time in Toronto, which who knows, it could be next month. We'll see.
Oh, God, that'd be
Let's
awesome.
If not, I'm definitely coming soon.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I want Vadim to make me a maple syrup margarita.
We will.
At
we
midnight.
will. Yeah, clearly.
Okay,
at
let's
midnight, yeah.
say
Let's
wake
get
up,
okay.
Vadim. You gotta make this.
I mean, I'm sure he's awake, but like, wake
Yeah.
up.
No, we're in bed by 10:30. He's not awake at midnight.
Yes,
On a
like
yes,
on
But
set
you
an
know what?
alarm.
When
I
you're
see you
here
guys-
and we're being as loud as we always are, yeah, he's up.
right. But I feel like on the weekend, you and Vadim, out of the three of us, are most likely to be partying.
Yeah,
late.
that's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair.
It's like
That's
4
fair.
a.m. Well, guys, here's a cool video I just saw. I'm like, why are you awake at 4 a.m.?
Yeah, the other day I happened to wake up at 4 because my daughter woke up. But who texted me at 4? This girl, Megan.
Oh, hi.
Oh,
So
Megan's
she's
awake. She's just awake
that
that
happens
early.
sometimes. I forget what
Oh
was it?
yeah, sometimes your cat wakes you up and then you're like, I can't get back to sleep.
I didn't
Or-
respond right away because I was too tired. I
I
was
don't
like, I'll
even
respond
remember
in,
what
like,
it was
in a normal
about.
time.
Was I even like conscious when I did that? 1 second.
Who
Let me
knows?
just.
There's always
I
like
think it was
like,
about
oh
listen
my
to the
god, my
AI
cat was licking
songs
the
I'm
walls.
making. There's no
Oh,
no
yeah,
way
that
that
too.
was a 4 a.m. text. Hold on.
Megan has gone on the AI stream and like she has not stopped.
Guys,
The hyperfixation.
we can't even talk about it right now because I have so much to say and I really want to get this
Okay.
story out. But let's just say I
Okay,
have a whole new
sorry.
career.
Yeah.
No, I have a whole new
Yeah.
career. Every episode coming
There's
out
gonna be a whole
now.
second Coast Files part
Oh yeah, like it's
to listen to.
I've just begun my career. Okay. So the maple syrup heist. We're going
It was actually.
yes.
Do you want to know what it was?
Yes.
Yes.
It was at 4:47 a.m., which is actually
That's not
5:47
that
for
early.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, that's 5:47
early.
for us.
But you know,
That's not that
Megan's
bad.
always up at like 5.
Yeah, there have been times that I can't fall asleep because I can hear my heartbeat through my ears against the pillow. So that's probably normal.
yeah, you would just you were saying you'd like to see me, and that me coming to visit would be awesome.
How
so.
nice am I? How sweet.
I feel like we
gotta-
both texted Lindsay this week being like, P.S. We love you.
P.S.
Just
like,
separately.
can you
I know.
do that?
Chantal also confessed her love to me.
I
so
did. I did recently.
Is it really a
so-
love you
confession if it's like constant and everyone knows about it all the time?
Right. It wasn't a
It's
confession.
more
if
like
I
a
didn't already know.
declaration.
But it's more like confirmation.
Still
It's nice to
nice.
hear.
Yeah.
Words of
Yeah.
affirmation.
That's part of. I have so many love languages. That's one of them. So,
all of them.
and luckily for both of you, gifts are not my love language. So you're saving a lot of money.
I think I like to give more than I like to get, to be honest.
Receiving
Right.
makes
Or
me
acts of
shy.
service.
Acts of service
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah, love that one.
Yeah.
And also in terms
Words
of gifts,
affirmation.
if you
Quality
guys,
time is big.
okay, so gifts are one of my love languages, but not in the way that,
You want something all the time or something
Not at
huge,
all.
or
Like,
it's
there
like,
was-
hey, I thought about you.
yes. Lindsay,
Right.
this is
Like
like
when I
years
see a little
ago.
lobster and
Yes,
I buy it for you.
The
Mhm.
lobster blanket or the lobster socks, which then I got blood on because of the incident.
Oh,
But
right.
The lobsters are
incident.
red, so it blends in. It's
Well, the
It's
socks,
fine, it's
socks
fine.
were blue, and I had to get rid of those socks, and it broke my
Okay.
heart.
I'll
but
buy
like,
you more.
But little things like that, like I love that. Or
Yeah.
or if you're out and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go see Chantel, and she would like this cider. Like
Mhm.
it's $3.
Yeah.
But I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone,
definitely.
stop
Okay.
talking.
Sorry.
Okay.
Do we have any
Sorry.
listeners anymore? Let's see.
Come back. Listen, stop. Hey,
Yeah,
hey, stay
sorry.
here. Stay.
You can pick up here. We'll tell
A
you
lot
the
of
timestamp.
podcasts do this, so they know.
And they
that-
also give the timestamp of where to pick it back up again if you want to skip all this. So we'll do that for you.
Yeah, but
Oh,
on audio,
very
you
nice
can't
of you.
really do that. But I'll just say, hey, the case, stop here. We're gonna talk now for real.
Okay. I mean, I could always
go.
insert something later, like
I
by the
think-
way,
Listen,
we're gonna
No, you
talk.
just put it in the description. If you want to skip all the banter,
go to here.
go to this time.
I
stamp.
love
Yeah,
listening to Em and Christine, and sometimes their episodes are over 2 hours. So we are
Yeah,
never
I
going
get
to
it.
be to that point. I don't think. I mean, we
Well, maybe.
Oh, we probably will
Once
be.
we're not editing anymore, we might be.
There are two people talking. We're
Yeah.
three people
God
talking.
damn.
So it's gonna happen. But
Mhm.
we won't do that.
We've
for
had
now.
close. We've had close. Anyways, okay.
Okay.
Welcome back to the great Canadian maple syrup heist.
Oh my god, I love that.
I'm
show.
gonna take us back in time. Okay. So just let me set the scene. On a sunny day in July 2012, I don't know if it was Chantal's birthday or not, but I know it was July. Michel Gauvreau. P.S. This is in Quebec, so like just hang
It's a
on
French
tight.
ass name.
We have more French ass names coming up. So
Perfect.
Michel Gauvreau headed to the maple syrup storage facility in Saint Louis de Blanfeur, Quebec. That's not
You're doing great. You're doing great.
this
Très bien, très
particular. Très bien. De rien. I don't even know if
Your
that's French.
Spanish accent's coming out a little bit.
100%, because like that's
Yeah.
all I have now. The French is just like a distant memory. So this particular warehouse was owned by the same employer of Michel, the Federation of Quebec Maple Syrup Producers, or in French, oh God, the Fédération des Producteurs Acericoles de Québec, or as I'm going to refer to it going forward, FPAC.
I like
Okay.
that.
I like it. I
So
like
much
it.
easier, and it sounds like a
Yeah.
cool like French rap group, FPAC.
Mm-hmm.
So FPAC was the maple syrup equivalent to OPEC, which you may know about oil. Hence the, remember the oil thing I talked about earlier, how liquid gold and it's one and the same.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah.
maple syrup and oil have a lot in common, actually, except that syrup is worth a lot more than oil per barrel.
What?
A lot more.
Oh.
I'm going to go into it, but however much you think, like, oh, it's this many times, it's more than that.
Okay, so we definitely weren't
Even
buying a
for the
barrel
most
then.
expensive oils or just in general oil? Because
Like,
the oils have such a varying degree
yes,
of
I've noticed that. Why is my thing going? Essentially, it's like your standard, like on the NASDAQ trading thing, your standard barrel of oil. That's what
So what you're saying is that we should put all of our money in maple syrup.
100%.
Okay.
I already have,
Done.
by the way. I've already cleared out the coffee
Okay.
account. It's all in syrup now.
all the eggs are in one basket.
That's how
Let's
I
do
like it.
I mean,
Just a little bit more about FPAC, so you kind of
Mm-hmm.
understand the concept here. In 1966, a group of maple syrup producers in Quebec got together to join forces and collectively control the marketing, sale, and reserve of maple syrup. FPAC represents over 77% of all global maple syrup supply.
Okay.
And I just want to say
Got a
that
little
again.
chokehold on the market there.
Just want to say
Mhm.
that's Quebec, okay? So like Vermont, did you hear that? Yeah, Quebec makes
Okay.
more syrup than you. Okay,
Yeah,
just
I know
wanna-
Vermont's always like, because I'm in the States now, I see
Yeah.
Vermont on things. I'm like, we got it, Vermont.
I just think
But
it's
you're not
so. I
Canadian.
think it's so cute that Vermont is so passionate about their
It's
little like side
like
hustle. It's
trying.
really sweet.
If anyone is listening from Vermont,
We actually love
we
you.
still love you. Please don't
You're
leave.
my second choice for maple syrup. Don't worry.
Second choice. Actually, I saw at the one point there was like a blend of like Vermont and like
Maybe I'll
it was
bring it up a little bit.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
You want to gaze upon picture 1. It's a riveting photo for those that are listening. It's a
Wow.
warehouse filled to the ceiling with white metal barrels.
I could tell like
This
my
is not how
2-year-old
big
would love
we
to
get.
knock this all down.
Oh,
if she could.
yes, she would.
And also, these are not the barrels that
climb on
Chantel
them.
had in her basement.
No, that's not that big.
That's not the
No.
barrel you had.
Are
Are
I
you
mean,
sure?
that was the
No,
picture that I had.
no.
So let's get back to Michelle. So Michelle was there to conduct the annual inventory of the 1,000 of maple syrup barrels, and he got to work. He noted that some of the normally pristine white barrels seemed dirty. This was extremely odd. This warehouse was known in particular for being kind of the most pristine and cleanliness building of all of them. So
I mean, that does look pretty clean in there.
right?
Yeah, it does.
And white barrels, like you're asking
Yeah.
for dirt. So he looked closer.
That's how brave they are.
Mhm.
They know their shit.
They have their period
Right.
and they're wearing white pants right now. That's how
Yeah, they're like, we got this.
they're like, we're good.
They're so brave. They're
Yeah.
putting all of their faith in those barrel lids. Anyway. He looked closer and he even saw some rust on the barrels, but this was even stranger than seeing dirt because maple syrup does not oxidize, therefore it could not cause rusting. So he's like,
okay.
make it make sense.
He's mathing the math,
The math wasn't mathing.
and it's not mathing.
Putting that aside for now, he began to climb up the barrels because this is how he's counting. He's like climbing up, steps made
It
of
seems
barrels.
dangerous.
It seems extremely dangerous.
Seems like a
And even
workplace
more,
safety issue.
even more so because at this stage, a normally 600-pound or 270-kilogram barrel of syrup shifted under the weight of his palm, causing him to nearly fall.
Wait, what? So it was
because it's not as heavy as he
This
thought
barrel
it
was empty.
dun dun dun.
Startled by this and nearly falling to his death, Michelle continued to check barrels. Many were empty, and some were filled with water, hence the rust.
The rust.
So this is
Mm-mm.
like when you're at work and everything, all the shit hits the fan. Like this is like DEFCON 1. By the way, DEFCON 5 you'd think would be the highest one. That's the base. DEFCON 1 is it just sounds counterintuitive.
Okay.
Anyhow. So they called FPAC HQ and the police. But with no security cameras at the facility and no obvious signs of a break-in, 2 thoughts must have come to mind. 1, where do we begin? And 2,
It's an inside job.
this is an inside job. We're playing the music now for the song I'm going to make about maple syrup. Ah!
There we go.
So I found this great article. Rich Cohen, writing for Vanity Fair, visited the site in December 2016. So just keep in mind, this takes place in 2012 when the event's happening. So this is a couple years later. So
4 to be exact.
yeah, 4. I mean, we had a hard time with years in one of our recent episodes, so I'm just making sure.
Got it.
So this is Rich Cohen, like I said, writing for Vanity Fair. Meeting with Carolyn Sear, spokesperson for the Syrup Federation. Sorry. My God, how good.
I want to go to a syrup
Let's go
festival.
to a syrup festival. So speaking with Carolyn Sear, a spokesperson for the Syrup Federation. Perfect name for a syrup lady. Sear, get it?
Sear, yeah.
I asked her if there'd ever been a spill. She looked at me like I was a fool. I told her about a molasses spill that had once smothered Boston's North End. A wave that upended trees, drove horses mad, and killed 21. No, she said calmly. We have never had a spill. I just thought that was a great line because we
Love
were
the
just talking about
reference.
it. Okay.
Because it's bringing back in old episodes and putting it together. Got
Right.
it. Got it.
It's
Got
only
it.
from a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that far.
If you look at picture 2, we're going to see a map of, I mean, to be fair, it's mostly of the United States, but it does show.
Of course it is.
Does show parts of Canada. The colors that have that beautiful kind of fall brown, that is where maple syrup comes from, and only these areas.
Oh.
Ooh, wow.
So it's not.
Nova Scotia is completely maple syrup.
We're
I love
drowning in
Nova
it,
Scotia
girl.
maple syrup.
I love
Right.
this. For
I'm
us.
actually surprised Quebec isn't more maple syrupy considering
maple syrup.
Maybe it gets too cold
know?
for maple trees to grow.
Oh, past the north part, yeah.
But actually, all of Illinois is also maple syrup.
Where's your syrup,
Oh.
Lindsay?
I'm gonna have to go find
I
a tree
feel like I've
right
seen that on.
now.
She's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go. I gotta go tap a tree.
Stop everything.
Is there a tree?
Okay, so now we're gonna have some indigenous names. So I mean, these are almost more challenging in French. So just
Right, unless they're indigenous names from Nova Scotia.
and
Because
even,
we've been so accustomed to them.
well, and there is
Right.
one, and you guys will recognize this name because especially in Nova Scotia, this indigenous group is huge. But you know when like the Europeans came over and they just kind of like tried to decimate and destroy all of the
Everything?
culture, and they made up
Yeah.
their own names for things that existed for like millennia. So
Yeah.
it's like
Mhm.
even us as dumb white people, we're still unlearning the things that we were taught, even though
Mhm.
it's not our fault. You grow up
Although
learning.
Canada's name derives from,
I know.
as we know, from
Small
Heritage
village.
Moments.
That's
Yeah.
the only reason why I know anything. Okay, let me get into this part. So, the indigenous peoples of the Eastern Woodlands, which is now North America, including the Mi'kmaq, Abenaki, and the Haudenosaunee. We're going to have the spellings.
Might be close. I don't know. I only know Mi'kmaq.
Well, yeah, the Mi'kmaq we know. Did my
Yes.
best. So they had been harvesting the maple sap long before the arrival of any European
Of
settlers.
course.
However, it was the French settlers who first used their cookware to reduce the sap into maple syrup. By burning off the water, you get a higher sugar concentration. Enter beautiful, delicious maple syrup. So
Oof.
the local indigenous peoples and the French settlers called it their maple syrup collab. It was sold exclusively on their TikTok shop.
Wait.
That I had you with me right until the end. That is a joke. Yes, they did collab, but they did not sell it on their TikTok shop.
That is a great collab. I love that.
Oh my God, it was like so exclusive too. So Quebec had been producing maple syrup ever since, and it's a cornerstone of their culture and their cuisine. Normally on these maple tree farms, there is a sugar shack, which is where you can try syrup in its most natural form. So it's essentially where I mean, Chantal knows because she said she essentially grew up on one. You take the sap out of the tree, you boil it down, and it's not even as thick as when you get it at home. It's still kind of not watery. The consistency is a little bit lighter. You pour a little bit on some freshly fallen snow where you can roll it up with a twig or a popsicle stick if you're a city folk.
Mhm.
We like the
I
twigs.
remember we used
Okay.
to do that. We would have school trips. To
Yeah,
go to
I
them.
did
Did
it-
you guys
I think-
have it
yeah,
as
I
well?
did it
We
one
did a
time.
school trip to it was a sugar shack. It was called
Sugar
in
shack, yeah.
Quebec. And
Oh, we didn't go to Quebec.
We were too rowdy. I think we ended up getting kicked out or something. But it was fun.
I
when we were
remember I
there.
went to one on a school trip, and it was definitely Nova Scotia. I know I went
Yeah.
to, and it was probably like on a yellow school bus. We went there, but it was freaking cool. And then my mom would give me some money, and I definitely got some maple fudge, which is like
Do you know what we love?
delicious.
It's the
so good.
maple butter.
Maple
you guys ever
butter
have
is
the maple
so
butter?
good.
No, but I
Yes,
can imagine.
Oh, mom loved it. That would be like her treat.
When I used
that
to
she
go
would
home,
get.
like when I used to be home at Christmas or go home for Christmas, I would always get maple butter. My mom would
Yeah.
give me some.
That would be
That was
her
like the only
treat.
gift
Like
I would get.
it
I'm
was
like, that's
it
all
was
I
one of
need.
those things no one else was allowed to really have. She would give it to us every once in a while if I was like, "Can I?"
But
You
it's
know,
like,
I'm
get
I'm such a
away.
Yeah,
good
didn't I
child.
feel like your mom might have brought
Um
us some, like, remember we had our Christmas with your mom, like,
mhm.
I think it was 2016 actually,
Yeah, it
around this
was.
time when this happened,
No.
December
Rich Cohen
2016.
was in Quebec writing this article.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Um, full stop. Put maple butter on cinnamon raisin bread.
Oh, no, like, she would just it
yeah.
was just, like, even just the nice, like, homemade white piece of toast and just the
I
maple
know, but
spread,
if you
and it's
add like a
just
cinnamon sugar
delicious.
raisin bread, that just is like a
Right,
next
Oh,
you're
level.
yeah,
you're
just, like,
going
upping
into,
the
like
ante there.
right, a
Okay,
whole new
Yeah.
level.
we're gonna go back to the maple syrup
Sorry.
now. No,
Back to
don't
the
ever
maple syrup.
apologize for your syrup love.
I really am craving maple syrup now. This is
That's
like
that's why we're here.
I'm like,
I
I have it
I
in my
have a
fridge.
giant jug. I have a backup jug for my other jug. That's
Nice.
How
So,
many
like, I am
barrels do you have?
dedicated. Not as many as Chantel's childhood, but
So we're gonna talk about the theft itself now. Over many months
Ooh.
from 2011 until the theft was
Mhm.
discovered in July of 2012, the sweet syrup that formerly was held inside over 9,570 barrels had been stolen. I want you to guess the
Wait, 9,570.
yeah, almost
Jesus
10,000 barrels.
I
Wow.
can't wait for you to explain
Yeah.
how.
What's the market price you're gonna ask us?
Guess the street value for almost 3,000 gallons or 11,330 liters of maple syrup in 2012.
And that's how many 9,000 barrels is?
5 million?
5 million.
I'm gonna guess 35 million.
Chantel, when you guess too much, you ruin the surprise.
I'm sorry.
So
I just feel like you said it's worth more than oil.
Did
I
I
don't
win
know.
this?
I can't even understand what 9,700
So
and whatever barrels is.
you
I don't
both
understand.
you both
Explain me in a pool. Explain me in a pool of how many Olympic-sized pools is this?
that's
Did
not
we
gonna
both go over? Can I make a new guess then?
you guys both created a spectrum where Lindsay is incredibly low and Chantel is incredibly high. So
Okay,
the
10
okay.
million.
So
10
the
million.
street value was $18.7 million.
Wow.
Or in
Okay.
2024, or sorry, 2023, $24 million.
Okay, so I
Oh,
wasn't that
wow.
far off with 35.
10
Thank you
million.
for today's day.
For today's day.
Today's day.
This is still the most valuable heist in Canadian history.
Yeah, I knew
I
that.
kind of like
Wow.
that it's syrup. Like that is just so like
Yeah,
homey. It's
That's
like
so
oh
No, no,
Canadian.
Canada.
like this
And maple
this
syrup is
ruins
valuable. It's delicious.
this
That's
ruins Canada's street cred, okay? We're doing maple syrup heists.
Did we have street cred?
No, we didn't. We don't want it either.
Since these barrels were only inspected once a year, there was ample time for thieves to use large trucks to transport barrels to a remote sugar shack, siphon the syrup into other containers, fill the barrels back up with water, and bring them to the warehouse. Eventually, as most thieves do, they got cocky and lazy. So towards the end, they just skipped the middle part, siphoned the maple syrup from the barrels inside the warehouse. So they drove to the warehouse, into their own containers, and then just left the barrels. Like, they put them back, but if you recall, they didn't even, like, wipe
some
them
were
down.
empty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And didn't even fill some of them up.
Just imagine,
And didn't account for rust.
at least if there's water, then, okay, they're heavy, but just leave them
Yeah.
empty? Like, what are you doing? Because he would have
Yeah.
just counted the barrels like, well, I assume they're all full of syrup and left.
And like, okay, I'm sure you're gonna
But
get
wouldn't they
into
get
it, but like,
shipped
are
out
they
eventually and people would be like, hey,
Oh,
you
yes.
sent us water?
But then at that point, don't forget, this is the reserve. So maple syrup is
Yeah.
being produced and shipped out. This is the backup because what if there's some kind of maple tree
maple
eating
syrup
beetle
shortage?
and,
Right.
parts of the country, either US or
That would
our
be a
country.
crisis.
But honestly, it
Oh
would.
my God.
77% of all the syrup comes from really Quebec. So imagine if there's one like invasive species and then they have nothing to sell. Well, then the reserve
want to
comes in
imagine
and
that.
fills up that gap.
Are you gonna get into how they were selling, like how they were making money off of this?
Yes,
Okay.
it's hilarious. And was it lucrative? No, it wasn't.
I'm assuming like I'm some guy in an alleyway being like, "You want some maple syrup?"
That's how I would
Like,
like for it to happen. But
yeah.
no, I will go into a little bit. But we
Okay.
can talk
Okay.
more about when I get there. It's really like this was not worth it. This was not worth any of the effort that anyone did.
Okay. Got it.
Just to say. So police got to work, and then just to answer your question right now, they later recovered a few hundred barrels of the syrup from Ethan St. Pierre, who was an exporter based in Kedgwick, New Brunswick. It was good old-fashioned police work by retracing the steps of numerous suspects. The police had interviewed 300 people and issued 40 search warrants between December 18th and the 20th, 2012, exactly 12 years ago today, by the way.
Oh,
The police
right.
arrested 17 men in relation to the heist. 17
Okay.
people.
Damn. Wasn't it
That's a
like the
lot.
mafia or something?
The mafia comes into it,
Okay, that's why
but not
I
in
remember something
any
about the mafia.
not in any way that makes any sense. But it's like
Because
Quebec
Montreal,
mafia. I don't
Quebec
know.
has a lot to do with the mafia. I know.
If you didn't know,
Don't come for us.
for listeners, that's totally true, especially when it comes to construction, I think, right?
Construction.
Mhm. So when
Right.
it comes to reclaiming the stolen syrup, a large portion would remain unrecovered. And as Rich Cohen says in an article, I just love this guy. If it's hard to steal syrup, imagine how hard it is to recover syrup that's been stolen. Like oil, syrup is I should have looked up how to pronounce this word, a fungible commodity?
Funkable? Like
It looks like hold on. Define
Chantel's on it.
fungible.
fung or funk?
Oh, okay. It means replaceable by another identical item. Okay, wow.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay.
Okay.
Damn, good to know. We all learned something today.
So like just
You
some
can't
brown
replace maple syrup.
coloring in water.
Cannot replace maple syrup.
Well, but okay, so what he goes on to say
Get out
that
of here, Aunt Jemima.
once it's on the market, it's just syrup. Oil is oil, syrup is syrup. So you wouldn't be able to
Okay.
tell like, oh, this part of the mix, this 20% is my syrup. Like, how would you ever know that? So essentially, once it's kind of left the person's
Mm.
hands, you have no way to know where exactly it is,
Right.
which makes sense. Some of it was recovered by retracing the footsteps of criminals, following their trail through the black market. This is not a joke. Some of it was in New Brunswick, and some of it was across the border in Vermont. Well, you can't make your own syrup, Vermont?
Wow.
What do
Sewers.
you need
It
our
was
stolen
stashed-
maple syrup?
It was stashed in the factory of a candy maker who swore he had no goddamn idea that the syrup was hot.
They never have any idea. They never know.
I just imagine a man that looks like Geppetto, like wringing his hat, being like,
Geppetto.
I had no idea that the syrup was stolen. If I had, I never would have accepted it. That's how I hope it happened. But well,
Yeah.
Sometimes
we'll
I
see.
really want to be in your brain, Megan.
It's very,
Actually, like most of the time, I really want to be in your brain.
there's a lot. It's a lot going on. And I'm not
That's
creative
fair.
enough to get it
That's
all
fair.
out.
Mhm.
But luckily now that I'm into writing songs.
Well,
with
that's why
AI,
you have AI now. You can just be like,
AI
draw
can
me
help.
this. Like, because this is what I'm seeing.
like when I sent you the photos of the whale looking suspicious.
Yes, that was perfect. Do you know how many times I thought about something like that when I was younger, being like, I really wish I can picture this thing in my brain, and I wish that I could somehow make it go on paper. And like,
some
now
people
we have that
can.
ability.
Some
Some people
people-
can. I do
You
not
never
have that
just drew
talent.
things.
No, I don't have that talent. I am a stick figure girl. Like that
I'm-
is what you get from me.
Oh, okay.
Like I can
Yeah.
draw, but the amount of time it would take me to get out what I want, like my patience then, like just for a joke, it doesn't last that long. So like Steph and I tried to make a cartoon, like a comic strip based on a song that was really, really creepy. And I did
Mhm.
most of it. And I'm like, this is for what are we doing this for? Like it's just like for an inside
For
joke.
why?
just the time it takes.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I was definitely like, oh, I have all the time in the world. I'm gladly going to spend all afternoon, all Sunday, drawing and making paintings, and that
I'm
my
good at
parents probably
coloring
had to
in.
be forced to keep for some
See,
indeterminate amount of
yeah.
time.
I would paint and draw, but also there were elaborate plot lines with my Barbies, and it was like chaos.
Oh, my Barbies are a whole other story.
if those
that's
walls
set up.
could talk.
That was chaos.
Anyway, back to syrup. So, in reality, most of the syrup was sold in small amounts to legitimate syrup distributors who had no idea that it would have been stolen. And that's essentially just it. As soon as
They
it
didn't
gets-
question the prices that they were getting it at.
No, they're probably selling
They
that at
probably
market
sell
value.
the same price.
Oh, fair.
So,
Fair.
after months of work, but not like months and months, it's all kind of wrapped up pretty quick. The cops got their men. Of the 17 originally arrested, it got boiled down to 5 men. Get it?
Oh,
The syrup.
ha ha ha.
You
Yeah,
boil it down.
get rid of the water.
Okay, that's kind of a tough crowd. Sorry. Picture 3 are most of our suspects. There's one person I didn't put in because
You said 5, and I see 4 here.
there's 5 names. Okay, but one guy, he was a driver. Like he was hardly even involved, really. So his name is listed, but 4 pictures. I put a pretty, fall maple tree.
I do like that.
background.
That's beautiful in the background.
Isn't that nice?
I want to go for a walk
Gaze-
there.
Gaze upon these faces as I tell you who's who and what they did. So here we have the brainiacs that were responsible. We have Richard Valerez. I'm gonna say
Okay.
Valerez. So he is now 46. He was 34 at the time. He
So
is
wait,
the
are we which one are we at? Top
just the
left,
first
bottom
top
right.
left. Yeah, just like how you read a book. So top left and then top right,
You gotta explain this to me like I'm 5,
Bo-
girl.
bottom left. Imagine you have a lemonade stand.
Okay.
So the top two are gonna be the first two guys. So Richard's top left. So he's 46 now. He was 34 at the time. He is the accused ringleader.
He was 34 there?
Yeah.
Damn.
I know.
Stressful.
Crime is a
That
hard
maple
business.
syrup business is rough. I mean, it's a lot of outdoor work,
Okay.
attacking trees. So in
Yeah.
April 2017, he was sentenced to 8 years in prison plus a $9.4 million fine with an extension to 14 years in prison if the fine was not paid.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess that he didn't make that much during this heist.
Yeah, no, but I don't know if it's in my notes, but I'll tell you.
He's still in prison, basically, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
still in prison.
I.
So in 2016, the Quebec Court of Appeal ruled that this was excessive and lowered the fine to $1 million. And then the Supreme Court of Canada was like, no, they reversed the decision in 2022, which is recent,
Oh, wow.
and they reinstated the original $9 million fine.
Okay.
Which he's never gonna pay that.
No. And they're like, and now there's interest.
And he has to spend how much time did you say again? In prison?
So 8
15
years.
up to,
Yeah,
if he paid the
and then
fine.
an additional 14 if he didn't pay.
Oh, I thought you said 14
Additional
total, not an additional
14.
14.
Maybe
my
I
God.
misunderstood. Maybe it is 8. Maybe it's 14
maybe it's
total.
14 total. That's excessive for stealing maple.
That
Yeah,
it
like
makes
people murder
syrup,
people and don't even get
considering
that much time.
Right. Like people do like
Which
cold-blooded murder.
I find that
like,
insane. Like that's the
Yeah.
real problem.
Yeah.
You know what? No,
Hot take.
it probably was. It was an extension up to 14 years. If he
14,
didn't pay.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
he's
that's still a long time. Like not that
Right?
he definitely does something
No,
wrong.
Listen,
but-
Canada really likes our
Oh.
maple syrup, okay? You don't fuck with our maple syrup.
you mess with the wrong
but I
product.
find this insane.
It's been oil.
I
Go
don't
ahead,
even
we let it go.
I don't have anything to pull top my brain, but like, kids will be assaulted, murdered by family, like,
yeah.
and I feel like it's well, there's no proof. It's he said, she said, and just nothing. Like, so I just, you know what? Not that they
Well,
don't
what was it?
deserve.
That guy that we saw recently that was like torturing animals and killing cats,
Yeah,
and he got like 10 years only. And it was like, really?
but again,
Really?
but
That's like a number
but
one
that's
sign.
more. That's more than some people get
Mhm.
for killing other people,
Yeah.
which I still.
Yeah, I don't know. The system
Yeah.
is so weird.
Let's just focus on syrup because I can't.
Okay, syrup today.
makes
Let's not
me
get into that.
super
Yeah.
depressed.
Yeah, we're joyful today. We're talking about maple syrup.
Well, exactly. So next to him is his father, Raymond.
Oh, yeah, I see the
He bit in the
resemblance.
family. So he is
Yeah.
now
Same
70.
hairline.
He was 58 at the time. He was convicted of possession, like of stolen goods, I guess. Doesn't even say. I'm assuming it's stolen syrup. He was sentenced to 2 years in jail minus 1 day and 3 years of probation. That kind of makes
What?
more
That's quite
sense.
a much lighter sentence.
I don't know.
But not the ringleader.
Right? Well, he's still got still got a lot. But I mean, I feel like the 2 years almost like isn't enough.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like a lot for this.
But then 8.
But I mean, that's like this is
Yeah, maybe he
kind of
wasn't
goes
that
back to like a white
involved.
collar crime. It's
But-
like they're not going to get a lot. All
To
of them.
do this, like even moving one of those barrels, that's more than a one person job.
Well, I mean, that's why they arrested 17 people. But I guess when it
Yeah.
came down to it, they really could only
These 4
prove-
people were
well,
the-
5. 'cause it
Well,
was the
yes,
driver.
and you know
Right.
how it is. They're always going to want to be like, what can we prove and what can we get them on, and that's what we're going to do. If it's a
Mhm.
lesser sentence, at least we got them on something.
And if some people were like pressed and
Start with the low
rolled-
hanging fruit,
Yeah.
and then we'll see what we can do.
So this guy I had actually mentioned earlier. So Ethan St. Pierre, who now was 81, who was 69 at the time. Nice. He is a New Brunswick-based syrup reseller,
That's what she said.
and he was sentenced to 2 years in jail minus 1 day, 3 years of probation, and an $850,000 fine. Can you imagine having a guy that's 70 and be like, you have to pay us almost $1 million because you accepted
Yeah.
stolen syrup?
Like,
I feel like
all
we're
right.
in like a movie. It's like a weird reality.
Mhm.
And then we have two more guys. Now, this guy, this is kind of insane. So his name is Avik Karen. Could be Karan, I have no idea. So he was 50, he was 30 at the time. So this is the guy who was really like the insider. It was because of him that this whole thing could happen. So his spouse owned the FPAC warehouse. So he was
Mhm.
like, hey, I have the codes. I'll leave the door unlocked, whatever it was. But he was the reason why they got in the first place. So
Okay.
so he got a bit more. So he was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
And that's the
And
guy in the bottom right?
yeah, he was
This man just
sentenced.
sleeping his way to the top, trying to break into the
So he
Canadian
had a fine
mafia.
of 1.2 million, which is a lot. But like he was
That is a
so
lot.
he was a lot
Mhm.
more involved. With the other guy from New Brunswick just accepted it and has almost, to me, 1.2 versus 850, like almost the same fine. That seems weird,
Yeah,
right?
that's
Yeah.
yeah.
And then one guy
That's
who
not
I didn't put a photo on because I couldn't find one. His name is
The other guy's like, I
Sebastian.
not only had to pay for this maple syrup, but now I have a fine for paying for this maple syrup.
Because
right.
I guess you accepted knowingly stolen goods.
Was it?
I guess they're
Could
trying to
they
make
must
it
have been able
split
to
so
prove that it was
much so
family.
that like you had no financial benefit for doing shit like this. So then they hope that it'll deter other people
I
from
think
that.
I go into it and like it was just so not worth it, like at all.
Mhm.
So the last guy who I have no photo of is Sebastian Jutras. He was a truck driver involved in the transport of the stolen syrup, and he served 8 months in prison. So Richard would say about his time behind bars in a maximum security facility, I saw a guy get killed over a fight over a pear.
Like a
Oh my
like a
God.
pear.
Like
So
while he was just serving time,
this
he
was he was in for some kind of appeal, I think, and he was just trying to explain like I don't want to be in here, like this is insane. And
Mhm.
he was changed a lot. Like it wasn't like you mentioned white collar crime. It really wasn't. It was more like a blue collar crime. Like he went in jail with everyone else who was kind of like bad, 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 bad. During his
Mhm.
yeah.
trial in Quebec Superior Court, Richard said that he had filled the barrels with water, but only under threat by an unarmed man. No, sorry, he was armed. I meant to say.
Like okay.
I meant to read unnamed man who had a
Okay.
gun. Can you imagine unarmed man with a
I feel
gun?
like
It's like,
Holy no.
unnamed with the
So he had
gun.
no arms but a gun. Okay,
Yeah,
got
if
Figured
it.
it
you're under
out.
threat, you might not even mention that part. You're like,
He
it was very threatening.
had threatened Richard and his family,
Mm,
and Richard told the court it was probably the mafia. But that went literally nowhere
probably.
because it's not true.
Is that the only reason why the mafia is brought up?
hmm Because he
Oh,
was
see,
like,
I always thought that like the mafia was part of this heist.
there's no mention of the
Oh,
mafia
no.
at all. Just
Mm.
Richard trying to like say, hey, I only did it because I
I don't
was
think the
forced to do it.
mafia would have gotten into like this. They're gonna stick to
Listen, we're talking the Canadian
not that
mafia,
it's not.
maybe.
Yeah. Not that, obviously we know maple syrup is valuable, so if you make a
Yes.
case, but they're probably gonna stick to like the usual suspects, like drugs and booze.
Guns, girls.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
At the time of writing my notes, I guess, everyone is out of prison except for Richard. But he'll be out very, very soon.
And Richard is top
He's the
left.
Top
ringleader.
left.
Yeah, ringleader,
You
right,
can
14
watch
years.
an Amazon miniseries about this called The Sticky,
Oh,
which
the
has some
sticky.
pretty good actors in it. And I looked quickly and all the names are changed, but it literally is inspired by this. Like it is, they just took all the names out. And
I
there's
know.
also an episode of Netflix's Dirty Money, season 1, episode 5. And that is called the episode, I think maple syrup or the Canadian maple syrup heist. They don't call it the
Okay,
great
that
syrup
might
heist.
be what I watched with Eric because Eric was
Mhm.
like, "There's a Canadian crime. Do you want to watch it?"
That's a great series
Obviously.
actually. And
Yeah.
so Richard, there's a few articles where he says he when talking about the fine, so he was fined like $9 million. And he's like, that's crazy. I only made $1 million profit. So you did all of this
Wow.
to make
For
a
minus $8
million
million.
minus 8
bucks.
million, yeah.
And also your time in prison. So let's say
Oh,
let's just pretend that what's a good salary for someone?
like I don't know.
65
I was gonna say Canadian average, probably looking at
Um,
65.
like would be
60
good. Like you can go on
Okay.
trips.
Okay, let's say make
Not
65,000.
not if
He's
you live in
prison
Toronto,
for
but yeah.
14 years. That's almost it's $910,000. Plus, that's not including that's just like obviously before tax. But that's the amount of money before tax he's lost just being in prison. The opportunity
Wow.
cost is real. So
Well, maybe even more because they say that the average Canadian salary is 72,800.
okay.
I feel like that's widely skewed. That's why I hate the word average. And I used to know this when I was
It
doing
depends what
stats.
provinces too, and
But
like where you live.
isn't it
and
more
blah,
like
blah,
in the
Yes.
blah.
Well, that's why it's
mean?
average across Canada.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because people on the East Coast are not making that.
I mean, we get taxed decently in Canada, so I'm gonna take that out.
mhm. Yeah. This is my salary and I don't see this. Like that is not my take home.
No. 100% no.
Nowhere near.
Well, I want to talk about that stuff.
Well,
I'm
that
in
is
the
the
States. Money is more plentiful.
that's the sweet
Yeah, right?
conclusion to our maple syrup heist. Still the
Like
most
that. I like what you
The
did there.
sweet
the most valuable
conclusion.
heist in Canadian history, which I find that crazy. But
Yeah.
I
no
know,
one
that's just
died.
Liquid gold.
No one died.
It was a very wholesome true crime.
Richard
True
still in jail.
True crime.
Richard Valeriez, French.
Richard.
He got the short end of
French.
the stick in this whole
Yeah.
thing. Like, he's
But he
never
was the
gonna
mastermind. So
do any heist again. Yeah, that's
I
what you get
just-
for being a bad mastermind.
It's just one of those
Right?
things. Like if you own the keys to the warehouse, and
Mhm.
there is an inside job, like they're dumbass.
You're
Like they're gonna know it's you.
Yeah, exactly. And you
Yeah.
would want to be making sure, like, okay, so everyone, right? You're still filling up the barrels. You're filling it up correctly. I mean, the whole like it doesn't oxidize thing. I mean, you probably have to really know maple syrup to understand that and know that we need to be filling that up with
But
something.
I
So
have
that would
to
be the only
So
assume-
you're
thing.
gonna get caught eventually.
You
'cause
are.
Yeah.
But
someone's
I
gonna
have
get
to
these
assume that
water
in
barrels.
these group, let's just say of the 17 people, some are just literally lifting barrels, like they're just doing all the little middle jobs. So let's say maybe even half those people are familiar with the industry.
Mhm.
Honey, right? Honey doesn't oxidize either.
I would assume
Yeah,
not.
Like
honey
it wouldn't
might
have any
not be. It
water.
might not. Might be kind of expensive to fill it with honey.
Costly.
No, I wasn't going there. I just mean like if you were familiar with syrup and you're in that world, you probably would have some food science background. So you would know that honey doesn't oxidize. So you would know that rust can't happen. Like you would just think that someone would have thought about this as they
Or
go.
even just like the guy
Coat the
that's like giving
barrel
them
in
the keys,
something
like
that-
take care of the barrels, make sure that they're not rusting, make
Clean
sure that they
them.
have no like no what do you call it? No signs of disruption
Yeah.
of any sorts.
Really, if
Put
they
those barrels in the very back, so they're unlikely to ever get.
even if some of the barrels were dirty, you could make up a reason why that happened. If the
Mhm.
barrels were full, they never would have caught this, and it could have been years before they did.
Yeah.
So like that was really it.
They could have made so much more money before they
Mm-hmm.
went to jail.
And so I have to imagine that he's lying when he says I only cleared $1 million. I'm like, was it worth it?
Yeah,
no,
but you're
that's-
sharing with all
that's-
these people, and
I
like,
guess,
that's-
yeah.
But also they're only gonna say exactly what they need to say, like, hey, this is what they have proof of. So yeah, sure, we only made $1 million. Yeah. That's what you have proof of. Don't look what I buried underneath the maple tree. Like it's
You know what? They
I made $1 million.
probably noticed that they were making more money when their Sugar Shack had like a big flat screen TV now. And it's like,
Look-
where'd you get all this leopard print stuff? Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
So that's the story. No one
Anyways.
died. Everyone involved for the most part got arrested. So all in all, was it pretty successful?
yeah,
Perfect.
And
It's
now I'm craving maple fudge.
it's a great
Oh my
Canadian true
God.
crime tale. So
Right?
thank
That's
you,
right.
Megan.
You're welcome. And coming up this week is the winter solstice. And, we're a little bit witchy here. So happy winter solstice. I can't believe
It's already
like
so dark.
I know, like as we're filming, it's not
4:18.
even 5:30 p.m. and it's literally
I know.
pitch
It's
black.
a pitch black.
Yeah,
pitch
it's
black.
not pitch black here yet because I'm obviously in a different time zone, but
But like
it's very close.
not by much.
It's coming.
Yeah.
You got another
It's
20
coming.
minutes.
Just-
Yeah.
yeah.
Just give it a
It
little
is
bit.
definitely dark out, as you can see. Like anyone watching can see me slowly go to darkness. So
Mhm.
Thank
Okay.
you.
So
Okay.
I mean, we've come to the natural end of the episode, so I
We
guess
did.
this is the time that we say goodbye.
Goodbye.
thank you for listening. And next week we're gonna have a special Christmas episode for you.
We are.
And
I'm hoping we're gonna be wasted.
maybe there'll be even a special Christmas song.
I have eggnog
Oh.
and rum on deck. So
Oh, perfect.
I'm
I'm gonna
I want
probably
to
like smoke a
get.
joint and
I want to
just
get drunk. So just
I have
let's
leftover
do it.
rum.
So
from
we
when
really
did
have to
my,
plan this.
Bermuda Triangle episode. I
was a
still have
good one.
one from that. So
Oh, wow.
Speaking
Okay.
of
That
Bermuda
was a while
Triangle,
ago.
I made a song about that one too.
Perfect. These will all be released on the
you.
Coast Files.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a
Um,
whole YouTube playlist. So please let me know what you think. Either way, it gives me joy, so I'm gonna keep posting them. But
yeah,
I would
either way,
I would
we're
love your
happy about
feedback.
it. Yeah.
Jack, who is a longtime friend of the podcast, said that Molasses Tide slaps, and she said it
'Cause
goes
it
so
does.
hard, and like it
It
does, and
does.
we all
It
agree
does.
it has Paramore energy.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It's so good.
And yeah, Paramore is amazing. So
So
you gotta listen.
I had told Trevor, he's again like a fantastic listener. He gets to pick a case, and then
Mm.
he scolded me for making him think, because I was think about your idea, and he was like, "How dare you?"
Well,
I'm like,
there's no
"Damn,
panic.
okay."
Like you can
There's
take
there's no rush.
Whenever you want.
But Trevor, if
We're
you're
not like you signed up. Tell us.
but
Yeah,
if
We
he's
you
will
know,
do
there's
have
no
to
obligation.
pin you down.
if he's listening or
Right.
watching, Trevor, give me an idea for an AI song. Give me literally
Oh, that too.
anything. You can give me a couple
Yeah.
topics, give me some genres.
You can give her the middle finger, whatever.
That would
Or you can
easily
give us
fit into
3
a song.
topics so we can each have one. I don't
Okay,
have to
I
think
can already tell
4.
he is stressing, so I think I have to walk this
he's
back.
You know what?
sweating
Think of
listening to
3
this right
topics.
now.
Maybe he has 1 topic, but it's so overarching that we can break it into 3 things.
I'm just gonna let AI
Ooh,
do all
there's
the
a
work.
science-based, there's the true
Mhm.
crime based, and there's the
Historical.
What was I trying to say?
I don't
Not
know.
that word. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I need to pee.
I think we need to
So-
stop because it's only just like
Okay.
breaking down further. So
Okay.
one more week till Christmas. You will get an episode next week, and also for
It'll be pure
New
chaos.
Year's. So you're gonna get an episode. No pressure on listening when the day comes out if you're doing family stuff. But we had mentioned maybe you want to take an hour to yourself and just decompress because family can be a lot. And we'll be here for
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, we will be.
Okay. So
Okay,
bye
well, I love
everyone.
you.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.
See you next week.
Thank you for listening today. We loved having you. If you liked the episode, share with your friends, family, or anyone who would enjoy it. Also, take a moment to review our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Leaving us a like or comment really helps. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, please visit our coffee page at www.ko-fi.com/coastfiles. Email us at coastfilespod@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at coastfilespod, or visit our website at www.coastfiles.com. You can find the sources for today's episode on our website. See you next week with a new episode.